Hi, my name is Victoria Seed, and I am coming to you live from the Vesta Approach in Manchester in the UK. And I help professional women and business owners who are living with and struggling with a loved one's addiction. And I help them to move from chaos to calm, um, from confusion to clarity. And I've been doing this work for a long time, so I can help you too. And on Fridays, I go live at 11 o'clock on my socials and talk about a topic related to addiction and family recovery. At the time of recording this, we're coming to the end of International Recovery Month, which is a celebration really of recovery and the multiple pathways to people's recovery who are recovering from alcohol or drug use, problematic use, and addiction as well. So, what I wanted to focus on today, and I've been talking about this month recovery related things really, so check out the other videos. What I wanted to talk to you about today was the child's experience of family addiction and recovery. And that is what I'm going to focus on because I did used to work directly with children and also managed and led teams and services that were working with children as well. And I'm also a safeguarding trainer and consultant in some of my other work. So I thought I'm going to bring that together and talk about what the child is experiencing when a parent, carer, or other family member is, having problems with alcohol and drug use. So that's the focus of today's session. Now, if you want to come and join the free group, please head over to Not My Addiction. Now, you can search hashtag Not My Addiction in the search bar on Facebook, or come and find me through my other socials because there's links to it. If you are a woman who is struggling with a partner's or an adult child or a child's or another family member's addiction, then please come and join us in that group. It's a small group at the moment, but I'm going to grow it when I get a chance. And I would love to have you in there. It's a lovely little community. So come and join us. Now, let me talk about this topic then. What is the child's experience of family addiction and recovery? So, in my experience of the last nearly 2 decades of doing this specific work, children are often um, not asked about what they are experiencing, what they are seeing, what they are hearing, and what they are feeling. So, the first thing that I'd urge anybody to do, if you know someone or if a child within your family is living in this situation, is make sure they have some support too. So we might all be very focused on motivating, let's say, or forcing, or whatever it is you're trying to do at the moment, a loved one who has problems with addiction to get the help they need and to admit they've got a problem. And that unfortunately can result in a deflection away from children. Now, with my safeguarding children's head on, I know that parental and other family substance use is an adverse childhood experience, which means children are and will be affected by particularly a parent and carer's substance use, but also by the chaos of another family member or close friend's substance use as well. So our priority actually needs to be on the children. And that doesn't always happen. And I'm not saying that to make anyone feel bad. I get mum guilt. I've got children, I've been there. It's not about that. It's about, right, where we are is where we are and how we're going to move forward to make sure that the children are getting as many of those risks of the impact of familial substance use reduced now. So what I always recommend is getting them some help outside the family home. So you might think within a family unit that we'll keep it all under wraps, we'll deal with it ourselves, we don't want services involved. But actually, what I'm telling you is that is the opposite of what you need to be doing, because children will see the chaos and upset that the substance use is causing the family. Now, you might not have them around chaos and upset, but even if they're not around it, they'll pick up on vibes that have affected you. Say if you're a mum, and I work mainly with mums, I'm not saying dads and other partners, female partners don't use. So say there's a mum who's living with a partner, and that partner has a problem with cocaine and alcohol, and mum is trying to deal with that issue, and she don't want anyone else involved because she's worried that someone will come and take away the children, which FYI does not happen very often, and happens only when the risk factors outweigh the protective factors. And more often than not, what happens is that the non-using person or people within the family are looked upon to mitigate the risks to the children. So while somebody is using substances and there's other people around, children's services will be looking at those people to say, right, are you protecting the children? And more often than not, that is absolutely the case. So having a fear of children being removed isn't a good enough reason not to let people know what's going on. I would always, always, always let the children's school or childcare know. I would also let any healthcare professionals know what's going on and just say, look, this is a situation. I need some help. Don't forget yourself. If you're an adult watching this, you need to get help yourself to cope with somebody else's addiction. That is what I do, that I help the family members or friends or partners who are living with somebody else's addiction. What I'm saying is we need to look after the children. Living with parental substance use is an adverse childhood experience. That means that can and does lead to health inequalities for children that are brought up in this environment. Even if you think you're hiding it, the impact on you. So say if you're my type of client that I work with, which is women, they are picking up on the impact of that on you. Okay. So whatever you're doing, you need to let people know what's going on. You can ask, can you just check it with my child, see if they're okay? I don't want them treated any differently. This has come up in the past few weeks with some clients' children. I don't want them pulled out into adolescence and everyone wondering what's going on. I want it to be done discreetly. I just want somebody to check in. I want a named person that they can go and talk to if they're struggling, because it's important to me that they have someone to speak to that isn't me, because they know that this situation, whatever it is, whether they can name it or not, is upsetting me. Okay. So really, really important. Now, the other things that we've got to think about is, what are those children seeing, hearing, and feeling during the recovery process? Because we might think, well, somebody in addiction, obviously that's going to be chaotic to children and for children, because they're seeing somebody who is intoxicated potentially. They are seeing somebody that's coming down or hungover or withdrawing or craving. What is that person's mood like while they are going through that cycle? Because they're going to see different versions of their parent or carer or other family member, aren't they? So think about what are they seeing, hearing, and feeling at those different stages. Craving, hungover, or coming down, intoxicated, withdrawing, depending on the substance. Are they getting withdrawals? Depending on the amount used, what is the mood of that person within the family home? Because all these things, those children are noticing. They might not be able to name it as addiction. They might not even see their loved one intoxicated. They might not know what's going on, but they know something's going on. And they're going to be worried to rock the boat in their home or in their family unit by mentioning anything. So what do? Internalize it. So then their feelings are not being asked about them and their feelings aren't being validated. And that is what causes the problem. Then in recovery, we've got somebody who, we've all been waiting for to get into recovery. And then that person gets into recovery, which is fantastic. And then that person's like, right, I'm doing this, I'm going on my journey. And they can sometimes leave the other family members behind, which I did a video on last week or the week before. So then the child's like, well, what's going on here? I've seen this before. They might have seen a parent, for example, in recovery before, and it's gone back to the way it was. And they're just worried then and anxious, like adults are, about what might change and how quickly it might change. So if you're a person in recovery, if you're a person in the recovery, speak to your children, tell them about your recovery, speak to your family members, tell them about it, because that is going to put people at ease. They're going to know where you're up to, which means there's less anxiety and worry for them. Include the children in age-appropriate conversations about what is going on. Research organizations that help with this stuff, like NACOA. I send all my clients out. It's a charity, fantastic work, loads of research, loads of information. Go to your local drug and alcohol services. Do you offer anything for children and families? Ask them. The worst thing you can do is allow those children not to have a voice. Trust me, or to pretend, or to just assume they don't know, or they can't name it, or they're not around to see the person intoxicated, because I'm telling you, they know. So there are ways to manage this. And I've given you some advice today. If you want to have a conversation with me about your particular situation, then please get in touch with me on whatever social platform you're on, or email me. And of course, you can come and join the group, Not My Addiction. And you can also come and download my freebie. And if you head over to the website there, vestaapproach.co.uk, there's also a contacts page, so you can contact me on that. So I hope that touches, really, because it's such a big topic. I hope it touches on this topic of the child's experience. I could talk about it for about 2 weeks, but I'm not going to, because this is a 10-ish minute session. So if you need any help with this, if you are ready to start putting yours and your children's needs first, then get in touch, because I can help. I'll see you next week.